Oh my goodness. Hello everybody. It's been a hot minute since we've seen one another. At least a couple of weeks. It feels like it. It might actually only be a week, but it feels like forever since I've been able to cast any high quality Enigma Cup goodness. That's all right. Happy to have you here twice on both of your accounts now. But hey, we're gonna do some casting today. I seem to be having some janky audio in that I'm not getting any game sounds at all, which not ideal. That's why I disappeared twice in a row. But hey ho, we'll roll with it, I guess. I might give us some smooth jazz while we watch then, just so it's not silent. I probably just need to turn the fucking computer off and on again, but it's very tedious. So instead, we'll rock some lovely smooth jazz. Yeah, so smooth. Not that I'm that convinced that you can hear me. Oh no, you should. Yeah, you could. I can see it flashing and flashing up. That's why. No, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, well, you know what we should do? We should watch a game. Lovely. Well, this... Oh, I should have changed the team names. Okay, we changed the team names. Casting. Best of 3. Wisenatics, that's the LEFTNATICS. And Mr.Dobbsn's team. The DOBBZACHs. I was actually really looking forward to this matchup. So, Lefty Sexton is now one of my teammates in another tournament for the Super Draft team game, which is kind of wild. Great player, kind of slightly on the lower rated scale, but absolutely brilliant in his own way. Facing up against Mr.Dobbsn and Zachhalil, and they've been so good together. Not managed to land some of the wins that we've wanted from them, but I don't think that's saying anything about them. I think that's, if anything, been saying something about their opponents. We've been super impressed with both of the Laka clan members. I think they have their own Laka clan anniversary tournament going on at the moment that I've not quite followed, but it's definitely happening. So if you have any connection to the old Laka clan. Oh, I'm hearing game sound. Hold the damn foot. That's game sound. Yes. I mean, I hear it. Can you hear it? Yes. Okay, that's great. It's coming through. It's coming through this one. Lovely. I have such an overcomplicated setup. Well, this is great. I'm very happy we've got some game sound. I was worried that we were going to have smooth jazz the whole time, which made the game sound like we were going to be busting into sort of some film cafe noir, but no need. Zachhalil gets his ball in. Nobody seems to have had any significant idle TC time now. Kind of in the first 3 minutes, keeping it under 10 seconds means that we've not got any 900 rated players in this game. I'm not expecting anybody to be totally Titanic. I think Zach is perfectly reasonable, and Lefty can really pull plenty of goodness out of the bag. So this should be a relatively even matchup. If we're looking at the actual players themselves, Wisenatic has a bit of a lead over Dobbszach, but not significant. And we've seen such solid team play out of Dobbszach so far that this could be the kind of matchup that goes all of the way. I'm probably expecting a bit of boomage. This is also the first time I've ever seen the Georgians, so pretty interested to see how they will perform today. Some high quality Georgian action. I'm always so suspicious about peeking on. I'm just for my own worries. We'll just nudge this a bit. Just fiddle with that sound so I'm not peeking. I'm cautious. I'm cautious because I know past couple of times that we've streamed, I've not been super happy with how the audio's come out. And I promised I was going to spend some time looking at it, and I just haven't. Instead, I've built a theatre. It's been very exciting at work recently, and I'm hoping this will be a very exciting game. Hideout, not normally the most exciting, certainly in the early game. Plays a little bit out like Arena, where there's a fat load of fuck all happening. All down to where those click-up timings are going to be. Now, Cumans, going for a slightly faster feudal age. We can probably expect 2 TCs out of the Cumans into a kind of boom. Very strong for our higher rated players to get a solid boom under their belt, because it means that they can carry the game later on. Hello, thank you for chatting for the first time with Wisenatic. Hoping to see some high quality action from you today. And obviously you're going to get carried by Lefty, who is a beast, so we don't even need to see any more of Lefty to know how well he's going to do today. Mule carts for the Georgians. I'm super interested in how mule carts end up functioning in this game. It's a bit of a change, like proper Age of Mythology kind of stuff. And it can be really powerful because you can make sure you stay efficient, but they are a little bit more expensive. There's that second TC down for Wisenatic, as we said. And feudal age in for both Lefty and Zach, but Dobbszach much later up. No idle time. Bit of idle time for Zach. Just crossed that minute mark. So, I like 2 TCs on this map. I like it a lot. You effectively make yourself pretty safe to aggression. The only thing that you're really vulnerable to is if somebody pulls up a particularly fast castle and gets some siege on your face. But we can see that it's going to take quite a long time to get anything over there to be putting any significant pressure on. So I think this is effectively a free boom, especially because Wisenatic and Dobbszach are opposite one another. It's like a mega pocket situation. A little dancey fight. Zach doing okay. If anything, Zach wins that fight. Oh, well done. So tidy. So tidy. Market Blacksmith for Dobbszach. Market Blacksmith for Lefty. And Zach is focusing on that micro. House. This will not be a particularly fast castle from Zach by the feels of it. Blacksmith, house, castle age on the way in first for Dobbszach. Castle just a little bit behind for Lefty. So far, going pretty smooth. I don't know why we're microing this. Pretty sure we could have just won that fight anyway. Oh well. And market only just on the way down for Zach. That's really unfortunate. This is going to be a bit of a 2v1 in the early game. Especially with that free boom there. If Zach is clicking up at the same time as Wisenatic, and Wisenatic's on 2 TCs, and 10 more vills, this can start spiralling quite soon. Only 1 vill on that market as well. Look, it's not even just that I Britishly pronounce the names, it's that I incorrectly pronounce the names all the time, because reading. It could be Wisenatic, Wisenatic. It's probably Wisenatic. I mean, if we're looking at it sensibly, it's probably Wisenatic. But I'm just gonna keep saying shit however I say it. I love how we can just sort of like shuffle the eco around so easily by moving the mule carts. I think they're a perfectly reasonable addition to the game. I like them in Age of Mythology, so I don't hate them here. I hope everybody else feels kind of similar. Barracks on the way down. We're going to probably throw down some stables or archery ranges. I'd hope to see... Ooh. Yeah. Like, we're up against the Franks. But they're Franks going for... No, we're not up against the Franks. We're up against the Franks over here and the Georgians. I don't even know what the Georgians do. Like, what do they do? Like, what's their whole shtick? And do they do okay with castles on their face? Because that's what Lefty's going to do. Going to give us the joy of some high quality castlage. I prefer AXA. I like Tom's AXA. Well, thank you. I appreciate that you like my AXA. And my inability to pronounce people's names correctly. There we go. Castle on the way up. Covers gold. Pressures 1 of the TCs. Won't do a huge amount more than that. And probably won't be the biggest threat in the world to Dobbszacht. Castle Age also on the way in for Wisenatic. Castles look like they will be the focus for Zach, which I kind of like. I think getting those castles down for the Franks is really, really handy. And what do we make? We're not... Okay, Hussite wagons coming out for the Bohemians. Hussite wagon monk. Look at this for a prepped strat. 1 vill going down already to the castle pressure. And this is great. Like, this now means that we are forced to... Oh, right, okay, they've got the stupid monks. This kind of means that we're forced to focus on this defense instead of expanding our eco any more. Which does mean that 53 vills to 57. So we did manage to get that 3 TC boom to level out the difference between our 2 players. But so far, so good. We've got vills moving over for Wisenatic. Probably going to help join in with this pressure. So instead of throwing down a 3rd TC, we're going to use the eco that we have to put a bit of pressure down. University, so maybe fast in. I mean, what's our res like? Oh yeah, That's fast imp res if I've ever seen it. Gonna throw down 4 stables at the front aggressively. And this imp timing will be really spicy. Because off the back of this, with the monastery up, we'll be able to throw down a siege workshop at home, pump out some cannons to help push this back before anybody else can really deal with it. So I think this is a bit of a spicy timing from Wisenatic. And the Hussite wagons have been an absolute nuisance. They do soak up arrow fire really, really well, like ranged rams. And there's not a huge amount. I mean, they're doing okay damage as well. It's like, when did Hussite wagons get sort of okay? Kinda dirty. Humans have no cannons though. Oh no! I was wrong! Well, at the same time, off the back of this, the pressure is not continuing. I would like to see more castles, but it seemed like we took all of our vills off stone, so we're not actually able to chain this. If we'd have been able to throw the 1 castle down, and then throw a 2nd castle down, that would have been good. But instead, we're probably going to be able to get a defensive castle at home for Wisenatic soon. Stables are coming in, light cavalry being prepped, and we're going to spam some cav. Good backup, especially with the fortified monks on the way out. And there's that defensive castle. So 3rd TC on the way down for Zachhalil, but I do feel that they are falling further and further behind. Currently even in vills and have more military, but it's just the position feels so much further behind. 69 vills for Wisenatic, which is nice. 43 for Lefty, but Lefty's being aggressive. Castle drop from both of our lower rated players, but the castle drop of Lefty was so much earlier and so, well, just way better placed. Like, if this castle had been over here, we would at least have been denying stone and pushed off the gold. But by being here, we've not really pressured into the base a huge amount. We did secure the 1 bit of gold off there. But imp is in. We're going to pump out a couple of trebs from this castle and going to push this back. All the same time, we are trying to dive in with those light cav, but the walls come up and we manage to stay defensive right now, which is grand. External TC on the way down, so we're not too trapped inside the base. We are keeping that engagement tied to the front there. 2nd castle down for Wisenatic, forward and aggressive, and they are pinging. Dobbsn's like, no, go round the side. Go round the side, attack over here. But I think it's a little bit too late. The GG comes in, and with that 2nd castle coming down and no imp in sight, that's a pretty dominant win in game 1 for Wisenatic and Lefty Sexton. And I think quite a chunk of that is actually down to Lefty pulling all of the attention of Dobbsn, stopping him really managing to achieve everything that he wanted. Forced the military to be low, and it's a 2v1 fight because Zach is, well, having a sort of ineffectual push over here. I don't know. I do think it's always worth it to try and damage that higher rated player. As we can see, it worked so well for Lefty. But it meant that we were fighting 2v1. And if we lose our higher rated player, even if we've got more vills, we lose our position. So, game 1 goes in favour of the LEFTNATICS. Very nice. We'll just hop over to this for a moment or two while I load up game number 2. Also, if at any point we see the game freeze for us, do let me know, because I wish it would stop saying it's my 2-month sub anniversary. Like, go away. You're getting in the way of chat. We can't see. Lefty is just constantly improving. Really like seeing how he develops in these tournament games. And hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more development in Game 2. So again, we have DOBBZACH versus LEFTNATICS. In the red, we have Mr.Dobbsn himself and his teammate Zachhalil playing as the Magyars and the the Gajars. It's jumping about. Then to the north, we have Wisenatic playing as the Magyars as well. And his teammate in grime, Lefty Sexton, the castle-dropping Mega Smurf. Okay, playing as the Saracens. Interesting. Pretty open map for Arabia. And I like the combo of Gujaras and Magyars. Get a bit of that scout raiding early and then transition to Cav Archers when we get into the Castle Age or kind of mid-Castle Age. And then into Imp, which means that we can try and keep our engagements pretty tame. The one benefit that we have is that we can throw in counters to pretty much everything with the Gujaras, but they're a bit gold intensive, so if we can't get up to any sizable masses out from Dobbsn, I do think that this could be a pretty tough one when we have our higher rated player for Wisenatic able to use the slightly more mobile aggressive Civ. So interesting setup, all things considered. Is the stream a little bit fuzzy to everybody? It seems like it's like 720p or something. Little suspicious. If it is 720p, I will, I don't know, come up with a way of fixing it one time. I'm expecting a bit of sort of fast feudal play with scouts, maybe archers. Considering the combo of scouts and archers should work that little bit better for Saracens and Magyars than it will for Gujaras and Magyars. So that is probably a little bit of a concern for Dobbsn and Zachhalil, because we just don't have that solid archer civ for feudal play, which kind of sort of tells me that they're going to lean sort of into more castle play if they can get there. So far, everything going smooth. Nobody really tanking just yet. Again, Zachhalil having that little bit more idle TC time than everybody else, but keeping it under 20 seconds so far, not too bad. Especially because, again, only 1,000 rated player is Zach. Only. Played really well the tournament so far. Seems to pair really well with Dobbsn. They have traditionally, worked quite well as a team. Taking engagements together and trying to be well balanced. Dobbsn tends to do a pretty good job of communicating and telling his lower rated player what he'd like them to do. It is harder though, because not only do you have to focus on yourself, you've also got to focus on what your lower rated player might be doing. And that can be a little bit messy, especially if you've got lots of aggression on you. And you don't have the time to focus on sort of microing your lower rated player, which means that your lower rated player stops doing anything particularly useful and you end up losing the game because of effectively a lack of communication, not using your third arm. So feudal age in for everybody, pretty close all things considered. I think it's within a gnat's arse of each other. But what are we going to see? So barracks on the way down for Dobbsn, sort of by his berries and wood, and getting that last push in of the deer. Do we see anything? Not really. Zach moving forward to scout, but Dobbsn really focusing on getting those pushes, those last few deer in before he moves out. I mean, we're going to assume that they're somewhere over here and here. It's interesting, we've looped round, but I was sure we saw the gold, but we just missed the barracks. That's a little unfortunate. So now we're kind of scooching around to see if we can find them. It's kind of similar things for both teams. Only one player moving forward to start off with. Wisenatic to spot Dobbszach first, though. It's a bit of nuisance damage onto the berries. Does get spotted himself. So, Market Blacksmith not going to be coming up today. We're going double stable. Stable for both Wisenatic and Lefty. That's interesting. Sort of expected somebody to go for archers, but no. Archers overrated. We just need scouts on top of scouts. Stable gets denied from Zach. That's unfortunate, but Lefty loses. Lefty loses the scout. Do need to send a Vil over to finish that stable. We will fall behind in the mass of scouts. Spears are out. Defense is okay. The benefit of that one camel scout is that it ends up being really useful in these early scout engagements. Getting that bonus damage is definitely useful. Means in a 2-on-2 fight, it's a much better engagement for Dobbszach. Lefty played amazing. Yeah, he was really, really impressive. Certainly in game one, his castle drop was brilliant. And I'm just intrigued to see how well his scout play will play out in game two. So far, things pretty even. 47 Vils apiece. No significant idle time for anybody. 20 seconds for a 1k, like 1100 rated player is pretty much even. Like, they're neck and neck. There's nothing in it really, which is great to see. Look at that decent unit control from Dobbszach, managing to pick off that spear without getting any significant damage onto his scout. And so now we've got a tiny military advantage for DOBBZACH. Funky walls for Zach. Funky walls. Don't know if I love them. We shall see. Any walls is better than no walls. But in this instance, that might not necessarily be true. Look at that! Wow. That's oof. That's some wallage. And we do see this. We do see those happy-go-lucky scouts diving in. Spears are out though, so the defense is looking fine. And over to our left. Military is they're just dancing around one another. LEFTNATICS now have the significant military lead, but I think that's mainly down to the fact that Zach isn't really producing any. 3 spears and 1 scout compared to everybody else kind of rocking more. And it is actually Wisenatic who starts pumping out some archers. Fallen behind a little bit in the scout mass, so pumped out a few archers, probably to snipe some spears, just so we can get a better engagement for our own spears. We don't need to worry too much about Gujaras going for archers, because we should expect them to lean quite heavily into their cav play. Some hits onto lefty scouts from the spears. And we do manage to pick off Zach's scout. We are in and causing a bit of a nuisance. There's so many spears on the field. We might be a little over-speared. Just a little. But it will at least keep us relatively safe. What is not safe is now we've rocketed up to 2 minutes of idle time for Zach. Which is just the equivalent of like losing villagers. If you've been forced to be idle, you're falling behind in economy, and that is pretty significant. Decent fights going on for blue though. Having those archers to back it up just makes for a really nice pair. But Red gets the better engagement of it, mops up, and that is purely down to upgrades. First, scale barding and forging makes for an absolute mop up. Huge, huge engagement for Dobbzn there. Oh, didn't manage to wall it in time. Will sacrifice a couple of vills to just protect that wood line. Really good stuff so far from Red. Dobbzn taking a pretty commanding lead, done some good damage. 35 vills is pretty darn good, but is receiving a bit of damage himself from Lefty, who is again being a right nuisance. Also has the vill lead right now, which is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Managed to keep his idle time actually lower than Wisenatic's. That's brilliant. Dodging round, getting some vill pickoffs, being an absolute pain. Playing really well today. Lefty, why can't you play this good for us, for my team? I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of play that I expected out of you when I drafted you. Some decent fights. But Dobbzn manages to get the better fights again. Again, good fights for Dobbzn. And look at that. Score lead is sizable. Lefty, though, he doesn't care about score. He cares about castles, and he cares about going, like, maybe 1 TC knights. From the Saracens, Bloodline's coming in, so we're definitely going to keep going into that cavalry line. No upgrades yet, though, other than Bloodlines, so they will be a little glass cannony. Bit of, like, just get some damage, do some raiding. Zach is vulnerable. I don't love this. Why are these spears forwards? they're just baiting jaguars. Oh, one vill will go down. Second stable will be up, so we should be able to start pumping out those knights really soon. Or camels. That's the point. We could throw down a few knights and a few camels in. Probably just worth it just to make the knights, though, really, isn't it? Yeah, it's just got to be straight knights. No, okay, I was wrong. Camel riders. Okay, I'll eat my words. I kind of prefer, especially when you've got an earlier click up, just getting a few knights onto the field. Myself, they do perfectly fine against the scouts. They're fast, but they're also far better at raiding. Decent fight for Wisenatic here. You should absolutely mop up all of these units. No, okay, no, it was archers in the middle. But all of those scouts do go down, and he does manage to keep 2 archers alive. Castle Age will be on the way in, and what is our transition? Probably going to go straight into Cav Archers, and I think that makes for a pretty strong combo. Second TC on the way down for Dobbzn. Second TC down for Lefty. And triple archery range, Cav Archers. We're quite heavy on gold. Got quite a lot of wood. So we're investing in that 1 TC play for now. 43 vills. We've got some Shravamsha riders on the field as well, and we went straight camel. Okay. Okay. Eat my words. And there we go. Just pumping out camels. Sending them across. Gonna have that oh, hello, cat. Please don't knock over everything. That's great. Okay, second TC on the way down. Still nothing. Okay, there we go. Cav Archer's now on the way out. And Cav Archer Camel kind of feels like a solid combo to me. Shravamshas are good at soaking up a bit of damage because they dodge those arrow shots, but they do die to to camels pretty damn hard as a light cav style unit. So as a combo, camel cav archer should be pretty strong. Though, at the same time, it's not like we couldn't be going for camel cav archer of our own. What are you doing? You absolute muppet. My cat is being daft, I believe, is the term. I guess a lot of this would come down to what damage can come in. I like sending the Shrivamshas up. They can raid, they could dive in. There's lots of exposed eco, but nothing that is too far away from a TC. It's probably worth getting a third TC down soon for Lefty. Only for defense, really. Some knights mixed in for Zach. And yeah, we need something to back up Dobbzan, because at the moment Dobbzan is again having to hold 2v1. Zach dives in with some light cav, and the light cav can't really do anything other than maybe try and do some damage. The responses have been pretty swift, and actually the Shrivamsha just can't really get anything done. It's a pity, because I do feel like if they'd gone over and hit Zach in that little window when they were moving over here, not Zach, Lefty, we might have at least upset Lefty's economy just that little bit and thrown him off his game. Instead, we've not really managed to achieve a huge amount with them. Oi! Leave my donut alone, you rat cat bastard. You weasel. Say hello. This is Moxie. She's got Moxie and an insatiable desire to eat everything. And I mean everything. If it's not locked away in a safe, she's gonna eat it. Little gobshite. Which is probably something that Dobbzan is thinking, as well as, again, Lefty comes in, putting good pressure on, just being that fantastic meat shield for the cav archers. Constantly taking the better trades. LEFTNATICS have the Vil lead and have the military lead right now. Yellow not really able to achieve a huge amount and super far out of position for backing up our teammate. I really would like to see a transition to either cav archers of our own or something that's a little more team orientated, because at the moment camel and some knights and spears and light cav is it's not the one. It is not the one. This is the best fight it could be, though. There's got some spears there. We will at least drive Wisenatic away, but again, this is a surround, and if we lose our mass for Dobbzan, it's going to get very hard to kind of hold 2v1. They try and get that surround in. It's a messy fight. We do lose most of the cav archers, so that's great for Team Dobbzan, who is, again, just holding really well today. And when they're able to take fights together 2v1, just having some pikes in the mix is absolutely fantastic. This is great. Good fight. Levels out a little bit. Military now pretty much even still. Cav archers dive round. Pretty much deny the TC for a little bit. A little bit of missed micro, let's say, over this side. Shrivamsha's doing some useful work. Cav archers are so speedy, but not speedy enough to outrun the camels, who do great damage as long as they get close. So the Shrivamsha camel combo is definitely a little bit threatening to the cav archers. Bloodline's on the way in as well, so these cav archers now get a little tankier. So, off the back of this, we're going for a castle. Again, probably a little ineffectual, this castle. It doesn't actually... It's on a hill. Like, obviously, we all like hills. And it's a good starting point for pressure. but I'm not actually convinced it's going to achieve a huge amount. We're pulling the military across to try and get it up. I'm not... Like, this could even be denied. There's enough military to probably be a bit of a nuisance. That's a little bit better. A bit more aggressive. Defensive castle on the way up for Dobbszach, which I like to see if it will go up. We're definitely exposed. Cav archers, there's military mass. We could dive in and deny the castle, or at least take a decent enough engagement against this. We see it. Fighting under the TC could be a little vulnerable. We're taking the engagement now, so the Vils hop in. Castle should go up, and this should end up being an okay fight for them, but all of the military goes down. It melts to Lefty Sexton's now fully upgraded castle camels. Lefty again doing good work. Gets the castle up himself before even Zachhalil's castle arrives. That's the power of actually having more than 6 Vils making the castle. Castle didn't really manage to achieve a huge amount in the end, other than forcing a defensive castle out of Lefty. So solid, quick responses all round. And at the back of this, we're losing Vils underneath the TC. And this is just kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. Even though it's still even, game's definitely not over yet. I just kind of feel like the position that is being balanced, kind of dragged out by Lefty playing as well as they are, means that this should be this should be decent for the LEFTNATICS. Like, yeah, Zachhalil fallen behind a touch on the Vils, but both of our lower rated players are rocking at around 90 villagers, 117 and 115 for Wisenatic and Dobbszach. It's just pressure. I guess this comes down to who is able to click imp, or if it's needed this... Oh dear. Oh dear, that's unfortunate. That castle coming up would have been really, really useful, but this is good damage now. We're going to fall down in Vils pretty darn quick. Diving into that castle is handy. We at least managed to keep more of those Vils alive than I expected, but we do lose a chunk down to 87, while we're up at 120 and 94. So it could have been worse. We should be able to at least escape. I mean, we can pull into that choke point, and then yeah, there's no engagement that you can take there unless you delete your own walls. Castle not achieving anything over there. Wisenatic managing to defend, and the Chakram throwers are out for Dobbszach. I kind of love Chakram throwers, both of them there, with the same idea about where a castle needs to be. This castle should go up, and we'd probably get our own castle over here instead, right at the front. Especially with Imp on the way, we just want to be getting a castle up so we can start trebbing. Come on, you know that castle's there. No! I mean, that's so risky. It's such a risky castle. I think it will be okay, though. The Cav archers are able to do decent enough, and we're not quite up to the mass of Chakrams that make it deadly. This castle goes up, gets a decent engagement, and honestly, this might be an Imp GG. Covidian Army. What does Covidian Army do? No idea. This is good. Good damage, taking the fight where the range is. It is truly death by 1,000 cuts. 137 Vils, so we can afford to lose some. It's just how many of them are idle? 8, so that's not actually that terrible. But Imp in for both green and blue. Like, how well has Lefty played today? Super nice. Getting the outposts up, making sure that we've got vision. Dobbsza's defense has been solid, but he has been fighting sort of 2v1 at home. Zachhalil gonna cross that 100 Vil mark soon, which is always nice to see. Has had to lean quite heavy into pikes to try and help defend, but pikes do very little against that mass of cav archers. And this is now so hard to deal with. Imp in. We've got Bracer on the way in. These cav archers are going to get harder and harder to deal with. Treb's on the way out as well. So we can just get that slow, steady push. Second castle on the way as well. On the hill, denying that stone, which is going to make the defense for Dobbszacht incredibly hard. And with Imp in for one team and no Imp for the other, it's starting to look grim. There's that GG. Wow. I honestly did not expect a 2-0 in this set. Like at all. I've been really impressed with how Dobbszacht's played overall in kind of so many of his sets. And Dobbszacht and Zachhalil, even still, we saw them take some absolutely fantastic engagements together. So, yeah. A bit of a surprise. Not a super surprise. Like, not like shocking. Because they're absolutely brilliant. But, it's not a best of 5, it's a best of 3. Yeah, good job from Lefty. Very impressive. Got a decent KD, but obviously KD is better for the cav archers. The economy is pretty bare bones, well balanced. Didn't need a huge amount of wood. Plenty of food in the bank. Dobbszacht, obviously, doing great at their own eco building. So much stone for the Magyars. Didn't really capitalise on it a huge amount, did we? Like, three defensive castles. One's kind of aggressive castle. Like, yep, hard to push until your opponent's an imp. Like, maybe if we were producing stuff from the castles, that might be useful, but we're facing up against cav archers and yeah, tough, very tough. Okay, well this was a pretty cracking game 1, and this puts us in a decent enough spot to go into our next set. Ooh, I've got the belly rumbles that only donuts can satisfy. Oh, donuts. Oh, yeah, no, I am there. I'm fine. Otter, I think it might be my 2-month anniversary. I'm just making sure everybody knows that it's my 2-month anniversary. We'd hate for people not to realise that it was my 2-month anniversary. No, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. Don't want that one. Don't want Zayu. What I do want is... No, I don't want Fastest Chaos. God damn it. Yeah, we can have the intermission overlay. Let me find it.